For the longest time, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga was one of my all-time favorite Game Boy Advance games. And I'm kind of at the phase now in my life where I kind of feel like I'm on the edge between like this being considered one of my all-time favorites and this being like an old nostalgic favorite. Because the last couple of times I've played it, I'm not sure how much I enjoyed it. It was kind of weird. The last time I played it was like the remake they put out in 3DS, so maybe like playing the original again would really would really make me fall in love with it all over again. But back in the day, back when I first played this thing, this was something phenomenal. One of my all-time favorite games, and something that really showed me how different a Mario side series could be from something that was very, very similar to it. In this case, the Paper Mario games. Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario are basically sibling RPGs. They were essentially conceived as being like sequels to the Super Mario RPG formula. Paper Mario began as Super Mario RPG 2, and then Mario Luigi kind of went ahead and did its own thing. They were both meant to be new Mario RPGs, but they were made by different people and ended up like being completely different in style, tone, presentation, and gameplay. Whereas Paper Mario kind of follows like a traditional JRPG structure in which you kind of have to like work to defeat like the evil Dark Lord of whatever, and work to accumulate the power you needed to do that. Mario and Luigi feels a lot more like a typical Mario game, with where Luigi is tagging along, rather than having a partner character, a variety of partner characters that you can switch between at will and have them battle alongside you. Mario and Luigi are both major playable characters. They're together throughout almost the entire game, and they both have really interesting. They both go into a turn-based combat phase with their enemies and fight alongside each other as equals, as brothers. and because of that, this is kind of the game that kind of made me feel like this is the definitive Mario experience, right? Like this is what Mario and Luigi do together, rather than like Mario just going off on adventures on his own. This game sort of established like what their character dynamics are like, how people treat them, how people like react to Luigi being there, sort of establishing this thing. And the sprite work is just downright stunning, and honestly, like my probably some of my favorite sprite examples of sprite work on Game Boy Advance. The character animations are a lot of fun. The sound effects are great. I love like the crazy moves that the brothers can pull off, like that jump thing. That's probably one of my favorite like attacks in any JRPG ever. I just love it so much. The game is excellent from start to finish. I would say it's probably a little bit too short. I would say it's about like 10 hours long in total, and that's including like an end game fetch quest, which gets really tedious. They probably could have done a little bit more, but from the start to finish, like it is an incredibly creative, incredibly engaging JRPG, like completely unlike anything else. The puzzle solving is way different. Like Mario and Luigi, like traversing the world, like they have to work together and use their abilities in and out of combat in order to proceed. It's great stuff. The boss fights in this are legit, like some of the most impressive I think I saw up to this point. Like Queen Bean, having to jump on her arms and then knock off her crown and then like jump on her head, or alternatively, if you know what you're doing, use the advanced spin jump in order to just bypass that and just jump all over her and destroy her in a matter of turns. Like there's a lot of like strategy to these bosses that you wouldn't necessarily pick up on. Like enemies have a wide range of abilities and moves they can pull off. They look great. They'll pull all kinds of stunts. They'll try to trick you. The way the combat works, you have like a wide variety of counter mechanics that you can use to avoid or counterattack any of these enemy attacks. And I think it works a lot better than Paper Mario. And I think the developers agreed, considering they kept the combat system until Paper Jam, like up until the final game in the series. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. It was playing this is incredibly satisfying, incredibly compelling, and a lot of fun. some minor gripes inside, like the length and like the lack of side quests, like maybe some of the end game stuff is kind of tedious. Like, in spite of all of that, this is an all-time great Game Boy Advance game, and probably one of my favorite games in the series, and it absolutely deserves to be known as a Nintendo classic.